balls.
Hey, internets.
Jeremy would be so proud.
Hey, internets. It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain. How you doing? Welcome.
Pretty good.
Welcome
Doing
to
Welcome to
Paradise
NPR.
Academy. Our Kids on Bikes RPG happening every Thursday right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. I'm happy to have you. I can tell I'm just throwing you guys all off.
Yes. Please just continue
Like,
the
what's
whole
happening?
episode that way. I'm like, yeah.
We're
I'm
all
down.
just going like,
I'm down,
okay.
Jake. Good.
Oh, okay.
I'm here for
Welcome
it.
to
I'm here
Mini
for it.
Terrain Domain After Dark.
Hey, sometimes you want to make a change and try out new things, and I'm like, all right, if this is what he wants to do, let's go for it.
Extracurriculars.
My
I've
blood
slipped into
pressure just
something
went
a
down.
little more comfortable. I poured myself a glass of wine and lit it. I did it again. Lit a fire. Let's get things started. All right, just so everybody's not weirded out. Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise Academy. This is Season 2, Episode 3, Opposites Attack. And in just a few minutes, we'll get into the game and we'll figure out what that's all about. First thing I want to mention is, of course, as you can tell by the test pattern screens in the corner, we are unfortunately missing both M and Jeremy tonight, so we will not be seeing a whole lot of Jessica or Laz tonight, but that just means all the more attention can be put on the four of you.
I don't like the way you said attention.
Oh yeah, I said
don't love
attention,
it.
not detention, not yet.
Oh, well, that wasn't what I was afraid of, but God bless.
Yeah, so a couple super quick announcements, and we will keep these as quick as possible. If you look over there up above Tomiko and where M would be, you will see a whole bunch of red, white, and blue domain pops. Those are terrain treats, domain pops plus 1 to fun. They are the only way the players can gain adversity tokens, and it can only be done through you. By subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, donating, or rather tipping $5 or cheering 500 bits, will earn domain pops for the players. They can use them, as I said, as adversity tokens, which they can stack and add to their rolls, or they can choose to spend 5 of them to roll on the D100 mystery grab bag, which has a whole bunch of interesting things that can happen. In fact, Carrie, or rather Rosie, rolled last week and found a mysterious audio cassette that has written on one side, only play on Mondays, and on the other side, absolutely do not play on a Monday.
Indeed.
Fortunately, it's a Tuesday, so we won't have to find out for a while. Unless
playing that other side.
Yeah, unless Rosie gets into gets a hold of a tape player and can see what happens. But yeah, that's what the domain pops are all about. The second thing is real quick mention about a couple of the games we have. Of course, on Monday nights you can tune in for Scribes and Scrolls, our Pathfinder 2e game. Every other Tuesday, we play a D&D 5e game called Sky Metal Iron Gods. Now, we were off this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And this Friday is the first game of the Old Guard of 2024 over on the Nerdarchy YouTube channel, where Ted and I get to play alongside each other, something that does not happen very often. But we, along with a couple other friends, are playing as old retired adventurers in what I describe as a sort of Da Vinci punk setting that Robin has done such a wonderful job creating this amazing setting and letting us run around and cause havoc in it. So tune in tomorrow and you can.
And Jake's Barbarian.
And
Jake's Barbarian doesn't get mad; he just gets disappointed.
Yep, I'm like the party dad amongst a group of old people. I play a zealot barbarian that he's like the dad of the party, and yeah, he doesn't get mad.
He's not here to come down on anybody.
Yeah,
I expected better from you.
You could have done. You just need to apply yourself.
Your cousin's a doctor.
So yeah, those are some of the games that we have going on. Of course, here on Thursdays, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us for our Kids on Bikes RPG. This is our second season, and as I said, this is our third episode of the season. Last two announcements before we get going. This game is a game of make-believe. We are playing students, teenagers and kids from ages 11 up to 16, and we are portraying them in the 1980s, and we are all adults doing so, drawing on our own memories, and we are touching on some subjects that teens may have to deal with. So at times, language can get intense. It is also a role-playing game that has fantasy violence. So those kind of descriptions can get intense. We do touch on subjects that are very sensitive, dealing with family loss, death, bullying, and other things. If I know that a specific topic is going to be coming up, I will try to forewarn you ahead of time. Such as last week, we gave a warning about bullying in that episode. The thing you need to know about that is, one, if those kind of things are things that you are not really into, or you don't want to be exposed to, whatever, that's fine. Leave. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean, just go. There are plenty of other streams that you can watch that will suit your tastes. And we will not be offended if you decide to leave. But do know that we as players have open lines of communication. We have had session zeros to ensure that we understand everybody's lines and veils, and we have safety tools in place to keep everybody safe at the table. We encourage you all to use safety tools at your own games. The final thing I want to mention before we start playing is the same thing that I tell you every week before every game, because it's something that we think is very important, and that is that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it's true. There are so many different reasons why we struggle. It does not matter. Well, it matters to you, but it doesn't matter why you are struggling. Just know that it is okay to not be okay, and that you do not have to struggle alone. If you are in need of somebody to talk to, you're not sure how to do that or where to get started, we've made it as easy as we can for you. Just come into our chat at any time. You can type !help, as Carrie has just done in the chat. And a couple URLs will show up. They'll also periodically show up at the bottom of the stream. They are findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to Paradise Academy. We are in a we are post-lunch, getting ready to go into fourth period of the first day of the school year, which is also unique because I'm not going to recap the entire season, but suffice it to say, you had one crazy summer in Paradise, and things changed in an instant, and you all woke up finding that you now live in Paradise, Michigan. Some of you who didn't have certain parents suddenly find yourself with those parents. Some of you who did have parents find yourself without those parents and siblings, perhaps. But none of you actually lived in the town of Paradise, yet you do now. Not only that, you attend Paradise Academy with a couple hundred other students, and you have memories of attending this school and living in this town, and things are just weird. You guys have been going through the day, getting to know your classes, reacquainting yourself for the first time, again, as it were. That's how confusing it is. with new friends and old friends and things like that. And the last interaction was some of you, for the first time in the day, you all got to get together for the most part, all of you did, or at least a couple groups of you at lunch. It's now post-lunch. And we are going to join the post-lunch fourth period of physical education with Coop and Oak in media res, meaning things are already happening as we open into the scene of the gymnasium. Of course, the first thing we hear is Coach Shakiti's whistle announcing an event that is, or something happening in the event. The next sound we hear is a sound that every kid across the country for probably the last 50 years is familiar with. As the scene that is playing out before you right now, that we open up on, is as the whistle blows, we hear that sound and we see a red dodgeball slamming in slow motion to the side of somebody's head, squishing their face off to the side. Spit is flying, but it's neither Coop nor Oak. This is an 11th grader who is known, his name is Robbie Diamond, but some people call him, his name is Robert Diamond. Most people call him Robbie. His friends call him Robbie D or Bobby D. And as this ball hits Robbie in the side of the face and is squishing his face off to the side, we freeze frame. And we hear Robbie's voice. Oh. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. Well, it all started this morning with this kind of strange dream. Well, I guess the dream itself was pretty ordinary as far as dreams go. But what happened after I woke up was weird. I got up just like I do every day. I brushed my teeth. I took a shower. I made some toast. My toast fell on the ground, and of course, it fell down, butter side down. I dealt with it. I got dressed, grabbed my bike, rode my bike to school, and my alarm went off. And I was still in bed. I'd had one of those dreams where you dream your morning routine. Except, here's the thing that's weird. As I was riding my bike to Paradise Academy, for my 6th year, I've never been to Paradise Academy. As far as I can remember, myself and the other kids of Paradise and Traverse City and some other local areas all attended Green Lake Community Schools. Hell, Paradise itself isn't big enough to accommodate a school that has hundreds of kids. Not only that, hold on, I lost my place. Not only that, as I was thinking about this weird dream and the fact that I'm going to a school that I know I've gone to for 6 years, but I also remember going to this other school. I couldn't wait to tell my best friend, Billy Stapler. Except, I don't know Billy Stapler. But I do. So, I go through my morning. It's pretty much the same as what I dreamed, which is, of course, now it's weird because it's happening. I'm riding my bike to school. and I see Billy standing out in front of the school. He's just gotten out of the car. His mom's let him out, and he's standing next to the principal's daughter, Rosie, and they're a couple of young friends that they were with all summer. The little one, Coop, they call him, and the other little one, they call him like some kind of a tree. Oak, I think. That's it. There's that skater kid, and there's that really hot 11th grader, Jessica. But they're all just standing there staring at the school. And here's where it gets weird. I'm expecting to see every one of these kids on the first day of school. Except, I don't know who the hell they are. I've never met any of them before. Something is going on. And I intend to spend this year getting to the bottom of whatever this mystery is. Full speed picks up. We're back in the gym, and the ball hits Robbie in the side of the face, and he goes down, and you hear somebody calling out, "You're out!" As a little bit of a flashback to set the scene, on this first day of PE, Coop and Oak, Coach Shakiti has said, "The only way that I can get a measure of you as students to fully understand how it is that you are going to function and where to place you within the school is I need to measure." Well, I don't know why Shakiti suddenly sounds like that. That's just the voice accent that's coming out.
It's a different iteration.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
It's not what he sounded like before. He says, right off the bat, "I'm going to put you into teams, and we're going to play a game that separates the wheat from the chaff. A time-honored tradition known as dodgeball." And immediately you hear whoops of excitement, along with groans of protestation. Coach Shakiti looks around at everybody, and in this class, there's a handful of students. We are, of course, this is 1985, so you're on the half of the gym that's the boys' half. The girls are off on their side. They look like they're setting up for a game of volleyball. Oak, both Refrigerator Terry and Brad Dawson are in your gym class. And
They've got the bigs with the littles.
Oh yeah, you are a mixed group. Coach Shakiti starts walking amongst all of you, and of course you're not just gathered in a gaggle. He's got you lined up in a couple rows, and the kid that is directly in front of Refrigerator Terry is, of course, every time Coach Shakiti looks away, Terry is like pushing on the back of his knees and trying to make him drop to the ground, or doing that thing where you lean in and go and blow air so you make them think you spit into their hair.
Oh my god.
Except Terry's not that good at it and probably spits in this kid's hair a couple times.
Yes.
Coach Shakiti comes around and he stops in front of you,
damn.
Coop. This very large, 6.5 foot tall black man who you've seen before. You remember him. He's the African sailor from the wreck of the Evangeline. You knew him as a member of the Seven. He stops and he looks down at you and he shows no sign of recognizing you. You. What is your name?
Yes, sir. I'm I'm Kenny Cooper, sir. Coop.
Kenny Cooper. Good. Stand on this circle. And he pulls you out in front of the group and points at a spot on the ground.
Okay.
He starts walking up and down the groups of kids, and he stops in front of you, Oak. I see that this year we are going to have to deal with some exceptionally small students. He leans down closer to you, Oak. Don't worry. You won't probably be this small all the time. Stand in the circle next to Kenny Cooper. And he points to a spot next to Kenny.
Oak raises a hand.
Sir, can I ask something? Is there like a waiver or like some form of paperwork that like my guardian can file to say that I don't have to take this class? Is it something?
No.
Okay, it's fair. I felt like I should get that out there and ask beforehand. Okay.
Tucks his head down, does not look at Shakiti, and keeps like walking to the center.
When you get to the circle with Coop, Coop whispers to you, "Oh, I'm not really sure, but I think we might die here."
There's no way that they would like haze the youngins like on first day, right? Like there's no way that a coach would be all about hazing.
Coop glances
Us.
over at Shakiti with his
Shakiti-
steely jaw and whatnot. Goes, "I don't know about that."
Shakiti is walking toward the two of you. And now stands
Oh, God.
immediately behind you, facing the other kids. And he leans down and says, "We don't haze at Paradise Academy. We call it education. Now,"
Okay.
and he puts a hand on each of your heads. "Kenny Cooper, and what was your name?"
Oak, sir.
Oak. You are team captains. Each of you will pick your teams.
Aww.
Tape
Yes.
captains. Okay.
Pitting them against each other.
So, in that moment, I think Oak turns to Coop.
All right, bestie. Honestly,
Look.
I don't care who wins. I'm just look.
Wrong.
What?
You do care who wins.
No, I don't.
You,
He's my friend. Like,
I can
Let's
tell
just
you
try
right
to
now,
live.
your teammates will care who wins.
okay. Yep. Let's make a personal goal. You and me just try to live. Make it.
We're gonna live.
We're
We'll
gonna
try to live.
This isn't
Okay.
the Alamo. There is no need for speeches. Pick your teams. We only have
yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
45
I want
minutes.
I want the big guy.
You're gonna
I'm
choose.
pointing at Fredge.
You're gonna choose French. He's gonna murder me.
Good for you.
Doesn't know what he did to you.
Good for you.
As if to punctuate that, as Terry moves in to stand on the side next to Coop, you just see him looking right at you and going like this. He doesn't seem to know the second half of that. He's just looking at you, Oak, going. I'm not gonna make you guys go through and
Oh God.
I'm not gonna make you guys go through and pick out the entire team.
Okay.
I will ask. Would you pick Brad Dawson to be on your team, Oak? Or would you like?
I'm more concerned that Brad would throw the game for me because he dislikes me so. So no, I will not pick Brad for my team.
So, only because I want to see how this works, I have created a random student generator.
Oh God.
I would like it's since we have limited people here tonight. Carrie and Ted, you are each going to roll a random student, and you are each going to be on one of the other's teams.
Woohoo!
Sweet.
Oh yes,
So-
awesome.
I need Carrie. I need you to roll a d20, and then roll a d20 again.
Okay.
Yes, this battle music, man.
This is just the ambient music. The
Do you
battle
want me to-
music hasn't even started yet.
I know.
I got a 3 and then I got a 2.
All right. You are Oliver Clark.
Okay.
I need you to roll me a d12.
Okay. Whoopsie. 9.
Oliver Clark is one of the popular kids.
Oh, awesome.
And I need you to roll a d12 again.
12.
He is a popular kid that his personality, the one-word description is dangerous. I will let you determine how you want to play that. And
Okay.
I'll also let you determine what grade he's in.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you right now?
Yes,
'Cause I already
please.
know. He's a senior. He's 100% a senior, and he's
Okay,
he's very strong.
Ed.
Yeah.
2d20s.
We got a 14. We got a 15.
I can't believe you rolled a 14. That's amazing. Your first name is Ted.
Oh!
Your first name is Ted, and your last name is Gardner. You are Ted Gardner.
Oh.
All right.
I need a D12 and a D12.
I think this counts
That
as
is-
the new kid on bingo.
That is a 2 and an 11.
Ted Gardner is a brutish jock. And you said an 11?
Yep.
His personality is described as creepy. If you guys have access, you should have access to the tropes. You can
Do you
use
have like a thin
the
mustache?
popular kid, and you can use the
Sure.
you can use the popular kid and brutish jock stat blocks for dice rolls for this game. We're going to be using primarily flight and fight stats. As we prepare to play a couple rounds. We're going to do this in the Kids on Bikes fashion, where we're going to do a couple rolls that are more going to determine how each game goes, rather than how each throw of the ball goes. Of course, we know one of the kids in this group is the 11th grader, the jovial class clown, I believe. I gotta double check that. Robbie Diamond, where are you? He's a funny
It is Diamond.
sidekick.
Good job.
And Coop and Oak, roll me a D100 real quick. And while they're doing that, Ted,
Yeah.
Robbie Diamond is somebody that Billy Stapler knows and has hung out with, is at least good enough friends that he's probably been to your house. You have memories of him being to your house. He's not from like he's like from one of the lesser wealthy families of the better, well-to-do families. But he's one of those kids too that he probably views you more as his best friend than you do as him being your best friend. That's up to you to decide. But he's definitely somebody that Billy knows.
Absolutely. And I was looking for the names so that I could make notations.
This is
and
one of
we
your
can kinda
characters that
talk
you
later on
created.
that.
This is one of the NPCs that you created.
Okay.
Okay. Coop. Robbie Diamond is on your team, it looks like.
Woohoo! Woo! Oh, but he's out.
Well,
Damn it.
we've flashed back a little bit to the beginning of the games. So
He will be, but not now.
Not yet.
it's time to play some dodgeball. I want everybody to roll a
Yes, let's
D100. We're going to see which one of you gets to go first.
Oh, was that the D100 you wanted us to roll?
No, that was to
Or a different
determine
one.
whose team Robbie was on.
Perfect. Oh man, beans 22.
53. Damn you, Chad. You're always prices writing me.
55, and what you got, Ted?
Sorry, I
Spay and neuter your pets.
49. Trying to do too many things at once.
49, 55, 22, and Carrie had a 53.
53.
So that makes you at the top. So I think the way we're going to do this is for your character, Oliver Clark, I would like you to pick one of these other three.
Chad did beat me.
Oh, did he? Oh, we got
Yeah,
55.
he got
I
55.
got 55, yeah.
It's okay.
My brain
No
doesn't
worries.
work.
If there's
Chad,
one thing
Oh,
I'm
did-
good at is numbers.
you
Yes.
pick one of the others that you want to focus on to represent
Okay.
the role. So it's going to be Ted Gardner, Oliver Clark, or Kenny Cooper that you're going to roll against.
Okay. Ooh.
And this is determining the outcome of the game.
Okay.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely, young Padawan. Well, I think I will choose. Ted
Okay.
to start out.
So,
Yeah.
Ted
Which one of us
Gardner.
is playing Ted? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So,
I wonder who.
Oak, you will roll your fight dice versus Ted Gardner's flight. So both of you go ahead and roll your dice, and we'll see what you end up with. Tell me what die you are rolling for these stats. What die are you rolling for your flight die, Ted?
D8.
D8. And Oak, what are you rolling for your flight?
Fight, right?
So,
Fight.
Flight is a D10 for me.
For
Fight
fight?
or flight?
No, fight.
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 F-I-G-H-T.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Phonetics.
So you're gonna roll your fight
Let's
die.
see. Fight is a D12, but I get -1 because I've got a. I think I carry that over. I think that's still busted. Ooh,
If
it's
it was
different
if it was a
iteration.
thing that was given to you in the previous iteration, then it does
Then
not
it
carry
goes
over.
away.
You would not have that negative.
Yes. It goes
Also,
away.
Oak, what rank? What is your one rank that you have?
I took a rank in Clank because I'm smart with the computers and the tech.
Unfortunately, this is not going to help you in this event. Okay, roll your dice. Fight
Okay.
versus flight. Shout your answer.
That tracks. That's a 1 on a 12. There we go.
All right,
There we go.
what'd you get? What Ted Gardner get?
Ted has an 8.
Okay, so that is a the defender's role is greater. So Ted Gardner, you get to narrate how your team obliterates Oak's team. And I'll let you guys add in how you want. Just like a quick description of how this first game goes, and you can give yourself some cool moves or however you want to do it.
So despite the clanky nature, Oak manages to scramble forward and grab a ball, but in his shock of getting it so quickly, he just kind of chucks it, and it's immediately caught by Ted, and that sets things off as like, all right, this guy was team leader, and he's out right away, and it just becomes a landslide thereafter.
Anything you want to add to that, Oak?
Honestly, I feel like that kind of tracks because, like, for me, that would be me playing dodgeball. That would just be overzealous and then immediately out.
I thought, like, I tried to channel what what Oak would
Perfect.
do.
Perfect. So I'm sitting on the sidelines and I think I'm gonna go, like, at some point he gets over animated and goes like full Bobby Knight, just yelling down the sidelines, like trying to get them motivated, but every single time it's just like one after the other, and then he looks over at one of the kids who, like, to him is his team's fridge, right? He's like, come on, man, you got this, you got it. And then whiffed, and I'm
Damn it.
It's all right. It's all right. Just first game. It's okay. Everybody, we're good. First game.
I see the urges of encouragement wind up becoming more of a distraction.
yeah, exactly.
Would you just shut up already?
I want to be a positive Pete, you know, that's what I want to do. I just want to be a positive kid, you know, like embrace it.
Inspiration.
The
Thanks,
next game
man.
is going to be we're going to focus on Oliver Clark.
Clark with an E.
Yeah, Oliver Clark. You will be. How did I determine that last time? Did I just put you against Ted? I just did this 5 minutes ago.
chose.
Chad picked.
Oh, that's right. So
Because
yeah,
he was at the
you choose
highest
who
of
you
the-
want to roll against. That's what it is.
You want me to choose?
Yeah, you're going to be rolling against somebody. 'Cause-
Am I who am I against? Whose team am I on?
You're on. I don't know. You tell me. This is
okay.
This is your scene.
I mean, I would love to be on Coop's team.
Okay.
Obviously. I hope Coop would choose me. If Coop has any sense of self-preservation, he would choose Oliver because
Coop
Oliver
chose
is,
all of the big athletic-looking people.
Yeah,
Oliver is big.
He went full. You went full, like, Olympic level. Like, we're about to be the U.S. basketball team and just destroy on people right now.
because it's the 80s. I imagine Oliver is pretty buff. He's got a full stash. He, by today's standards, he looks like a 27-year-old man. And he's about ready to wreck some people's shit. And I want to hurl a ball at. I probably would also hurl a ball at Oak. I want to take out the freaking head of the snake.
I feel like Oliver is Ben Affleck's character in Dazed and Confused.
Yes, that's he's
the one that
yes.
was chasing the kids around, so he could get he could definitely get the paddling on them.
Dangerous, yeah. Exactly. That's perfect.
So you
He's
said
that kind of
you said you're gonna
dangerous.
roll against
Oak.
All right.
And so it's a fight or
So
You're
you
gonna
roll
roll
fight,
fight.
he rolls flight.
and he's gonna roll flight.
okay. Okay. I got a 7.
What were you rolling?
A D12.
Okay, well, my flight is a D10 plus 1. I rolled a D10, so I got a 10, so that exploded, and then I got a 9, so that's a total of 20.
Oak
From
is
flight.
learning how to play dodgeball.
Oak, roll me
He's
a
so
D.
slippery.
Roll me a D6 real quick.
A D6, okay.
Yep.
Damn, son. That means
4.
you caught that.
Okay.
4.
Oh.
So, Oak, you get full narration on how you beat this team with an exceptional focus on Oliver Clark.
Okay, so I think at some point my defeated team is just sitting on the sidelines, right? And then there's this one kid. Definitely more of the popular crowd. He's like if Tom Brady was going to high school.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. He gets fired up because he's pissed that they lost the first match.
He's got
right?
a cigarette behind his ear right now.
Yeah, and he's just like walking up and down the bench, like trying to get people psyched up. And he looks Oak square in the face. He's like, "Listen, man, you were made to be this captain. I don't know you very well, but dude, if we don't win this, I won't know you. I need to know that you can carry us to victory. Can you do it?" Yeah. All right, little dude. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And I think that level of like excitement to watch like a bigger kid get excited over you possibly being able to do something, that gives him a renewed sense of vigor. He gets out on the field, and then I think Fridge is the first one who wants to just beam him, and that first ball goes and hurls all the way to the back wall, misses Oak, and then Oliver comes in and tries to slide one up underneath his legs, and he just rolls out of the way and then gets back up and just starts throwing some of these. And it reminds him, it's that flashback moment to when he used the dodgeball in the in season 1.
Oh yeah.
And he just clips one of the popular kids in the front with this ball, and he's just stunned there for a minute, being like, Did I do it? Oh hell yeah! All right, yeah.
Because of that incredibly high score that you rolled, I'm going to say that one of the other kids that you beam just in the side of the head, it's that freeze frame Robbie D from the opening.
Yeah,
we see
Robbie.
that for a moment. Not only that, I actually want to point something out here. I would like all of you, well, actually, not all of you, because I gotta remember, you aren't you're playing these other NPCs. So, Coop, I would like you to roll a grit check for me.
All right, my grit die is a D6.
Okay.
All right. Magnificent. That's a 2.
Okay.
Keeping it Coop.
Oak, you're the only one that notices this. As this game is happening, now this reference is a little anachronistic for our time period, but so we all understand cinematically what I'm talking about. Picture the movie The 300, where you have scenes where it's suddenly speed ramped up to super fast, and then it speed ramps down to slow-mo, where you're moving really quick, and then all of a sudden just whoosh, and you seem to just see your targets in slow motion. You're directing your team where to go. And Oak, you're the only one that realizes
awesome.
in the moment of this game, you are actually seeing this happen. Meaning, in those moments where it seems like time slows down and you have time to look at and pick out your target, you feel like time has slowed down for real.
You're the Flash!
And you're chucking
your
these balls, and they're just going exactly where... It's like you have time to analyze, so that when a ball is flying, when the Fridge threw that ball at you, you could see exactly where it was going to go, and you're able to almost just go like Spider-Man watching the fist go flying past him.
Oh my god.
It's almost as if you are bending time.
I
You're-
feel like we're watching Oak become a man.
Your karate's gonna be so good.
I
Oh
just
my
gained.
God.
I gained my first chest hair. Just
Like Neo, just fucking.
Whoa. I
Oh,
know kung
whoa.
fu.
I come back to the bench and my voice
I know
is like
dodgeball.
I know dodgeball now, guys. I survived.
All right.
Someone hands you a can of Axe body spray.
So, looking around, actually, go ahead and make me a quick grit check, Oak.
For me,
Yeah,
okay.
because I want to see.
let's take a look. If I don't get sick from the time bending, that sounds like a good plan. What do I got? D6? Yep, D6 in grit. Let's go. That's a 3.
Okay. You're not positive because you're kind of reeling from what you've seen happen. But after you hit Robbie D with the ball, and you hit him so hard that it's like slow motion, and then all of a sudden speed ramps up, and he does like a full-on flip, lands on his butt, and kind of slides back a little bit. He's giving you a sideways glance, like maybe he saw something was a little hinky. Coop, choose your target. Who do you want to roll against?
Ooh. What are my choices?
It's gonna be Oak.
Who all's on Chad's team?
It's
Oak's
Oak,
team.
Oliver,
I'm on Coop's team.
Yeah.
Oak, Ted.
I've got Ted too.
No,
Ted
Okay,
and
listen,
I've got everybody on my
Both-
team.
I
both
just
of
want
them
you
are
guys
on
to
I
roll.
guess you have to probably
So-
try to go for that little kid with the leg braces.
I'm imagining for the purposes of this that there's probably like a little bit of like maybe each game you're allowed to swap a couple people out just so
Yeah,
you can
like,
pick
hey,
whoever you want. My point was I
he
want to
seems
include you all.
narratively important.
very cool.
So you
Very
can pick whoever you want.
Dealer's choice, because whoever I choose, I'm not going to hit because
Okay.
I'm hook hand Coop.
All right, you're going against
Okay,
Ted.
and
Ted playing Ted.
okay.
Creepy-
All right, my
creepy Ted
fight
Gardner.
is a D4,
You never
just
know,
to
you
put
might
emphasis
explode.
on this. Oh, well, let's see.
all right, and I'm rolling my flight again.
Yes.
Did you explode? What are you? Nope, that's a 2.
Well, Ted rolled poorly, but he still beat you with a 4.
Oh.
All right, Ted. This is your narration with a little bit of input after the fact from Coop.
Sure. So I feel like since the numbers are a lot closer with this one, there's a lot more drama, a lot of back and forth, a lot of like catches where players like keep coming back, but then like they'll catch a ball. So like it's a longer game with this, ebb and flow of, drama and hoots and hollers from the crowd. And, then it finally comes down to like, a poorly thrown ball by one of Coop's team, and Coop, who's been hanging in the back, like just playing the chicken, dodging back and forth, and Ted is it's down to like Ted and Coop, and he's sitting there like with his brutish nature, just like kind of like tossing the ball up and down, taunting Coop to move, and the cheers from Ted's team. He's like, all right, and he just beans him right in the forehead.
Oh my god, takes him right off his
The
feet.
forehead.
Right
Oof.
in the forehead.
I feel like the ball just slow-mo slams into Coop. Pong! Bounces off of his head, rolls away, and then Coop's eyes roll backwards and he falls.
Oh my god. Hey, little kid, are you okay?
Ow. I'm alive, I think.
I think I can see sport tech backwards on your forehead.
Voit. What was that?
Maybe we should write it there in pen.
You kind of come to and you see that like wreath of heads like looking down at you. It's like, hey coach, I think we should probably be done for the day. It's almost time for the bell anyway.
Coach Shakiti has been throughout every game. He has not been coaching at all. He's just been observing. And the entire time he's been writing down on a clipboard, making notes about different students. Did everybody get a chance to throw and choose their enemies? I kind of lost track.
I did.
We
Failed, but I
played
did
3
it.
games. So I rolled twice as the responder, but yeah,
Oh.
I think
So
3
we're gonna
rounds is good.
we're gonna come back because I want to split. I want to go see what's going on in another class. So we will come back to this, but for now, suffice it to say that as we see everybody kind of getting ready to play another game, as regardless of somebody saying, hey, I think we played enough, Coach Shakiti just says, switch sides again.
Oh my god.
Oak, Coop. As we prepare to switch scenes, how would you describe your do you look like you're having fun or not? We'll phrase it that way.
Coop looks like a deer in headlights. He is absolutely not having fun. He has just spent a long time trying not to get beamed with a ball. Now he's been beamed with the ball, and he's still just trying to live.
I feel like at one point
I think
there was one of those scenes like from a war movie where Coop is just down like this as dodgeballs are raining around him in slow motion. Oak, what about you?
I think it's very similar. Like both Coop and Oak are like not wanting to get into the middle of the fray unless they have to, but I do think at some point, especially after that hit that he did on Robbie, there is this sense of I could be that kid. I could be like maybe this is my end. Maybe this is the way that people will start seeing me as like kind of a popular kid or whatever, right? Like maybe I get off from being a bench warmer and I can start like actually being recognized or whatever. So there is a moment though, like when everybody runs toward the ball, like there's moments where he'll catch Coop and he'll be like, "Hey man, you doing okay? Just a couple more rounds, man. We'll be fine. I promise. I'm not gonna try to hit you. I'm gonna try to hit the bigger kids."
Coop
Okay?
can't talk. He's red-faced and breathing heavy because he's Coop.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like we're both just gassed by like
And-
game 5.
Coach Shakiti just says to you, you are not friends right now. You are enemies. Again. And that's where we're
I
going to
must
cut
break.
to.
Yes,
I
sir.
must break you.
We're going to cut to another scene. This time, we are still in 4th period. But we are in Mrs. Whitman's American Lit class. Rosie, you have gotten into class with several of the other classmates, kind of getting situated, and as you're organizing your book or grabbing out of your backpack or whatever it is you're doing to settle in to your seat, somebody walks up to your left into that row of seats, plops down, and you hear a familiar voice say, "Huh, this is the second class we got together." It is Jimmy Bretsky. You had geometry 3rd period together.
Yeah.
So you now have a second class, and Jimmy has chosen to sit right next to you. Rosie, how are you reacting to this?
I think when she sees him and he goes, "Oh, second class we've had together." I'm like, "Yeah, that's weird. Second one of the day, and it's only fourth period. It's fourth period, right?" I'm talking too much. And Rosie just kind of like is suddenly she appeared to be very comfortable, and she just in some kind of like hard to place way, she now looks very uncomfortable.
As you're saying that, she kind of mumbling and whatever, Jimmy just kind of smiles, and he does that thing where he's got like a lock of hair coming down, and he just kind of goes,
"Oh my god!" He flicks.
He just a slight head toss, almost absent-mindedly,
and Rosie is kind of like
he gives you that little bit of a crooked smile, just that little bit of a.
Oh my god! Rosie just kind of like smiles back and kind of like laughs. It's like, so, any idea what we're gonna read first here in American Lit?
It's my first class too, so I guess we'll find out together, huh?
Yeah, I guess. And Rosie just kind of like is in her head just going, "That sounded so stupid. That sounded so dumb." And she's just like beating herself up and just kind of like trying to not look at him, but her eyes just kind of keep drifting that way.
Of
course it's his first time taking this. How do you know?
So I've got to do this. Rosie, as you're sitting there having this awkward conversation with Jimmy Bretsky, to your left, for some reason he looks like I don't know how many people will relate to this, but I used to watch this show with my kids all the time. I'm picturing almost like the basketball player from Ned's Declassified that was always spinning a basketball wearing the green.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is.
Wow.
But, so picture
great reference.
Picture this
That's
scene.
That's a deep cut.
Picture this scene, and Jimmy Bretsky, as he says that, I don't know, I guess we'll find out together. The camera does a little bit of a rack focus, and on the other side of Jimmy is Claire Spicer.
Oh shit, this is a bad combo.
And she is looking at the two of you, and you can see her eyes are darting between the two of you with that look of she's got to figure out something fast. And for a moment, while Jimmy is not looking at her, Claire looks right at you and goes, "Hey, Jimmy, in a couple weeks they're going to have the first dance of the year. Have you thought about who you might want to go with?" And only when he turns to look at Claire does she turn to actually, look at him. But you sense that she's keeping an eye on you out of the periphery. And she is absolutely doing she's kind of leaning there and kind of playing with her hair a little bit. And she just says, I just was curious, And Jimmy goes, "I don't know, Claire. It's first day of school. I haven't even thought about the dance. I didn't even know there was a dance in a couple weeks." I guess,
I hear
figure
Claire
it
is on
out.
the dance committee. You got to do probably better at putting up posters and stuff, Claire. I don't think anybody knows about it.
Claire actually doesn't say anything to you, but you see her smile falter a little bit. "That's all right, Jimmy. I'll get back to you." And that's about the time you hear the door close. And the teacher, Mrs. Whitman, starts to she just jumps into it. All right, class, this is American literature. We are going to be reading American literature. I
lean over to Jimmy and I was like, no shit. Just very quietly.
Ooh, you know what?
No. No. No.
I'm gonna call that a charm roll.
Me?
Yep,
Me?
you are going to be rolling a
Okay.
contested charm versus our
Did anybody watch Daria when it was on?
oh man, yeah, a little bit.
I imagine this is like an adult version of like Jane Lane. Like that's the teacher. That's who she is. Oh, for fuck's sakes. What'd you get?
What'd you get?
I got a 1.
You got a 7.
Come on. You couldn't tell that she rolled a 1 by
I knew
her
I knew it was
reaction?
low, but it might have been a
Usually
2.
when I ask for him to go first, it's because I was a badass. So this is very much the opposite.
So when you say that, Mrs. Whitman immediately stops what she's saying, and you've kind of said this aside to Jimmy, and it takes you a moment to realize that you're hearing Mrs. Whitman's heels click as she's walking down the aisle to stand right next to your desk, and she reaches down and just double taps your desk with 2 fingers very firmly. Miss Gunnarsson,
Yes, Mrs. Whitman.
it is very important that you understand that just because you carry the name Gunnarsson, you will not get special treatment in this class. Watch your language
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
and listen.
Yes, ma'am.
She takes a
And
moment.
Rosie's just beat red in the face.
She takes a moment. There's probably a good 3-4 seconds of her standing there, not saying anything. You can definitely feel that Jimmy is watching you, but you definitely can see out of your peripheral that Claire Spicer is watching, and she wears an unconcealed look of glee.
Rosie's
After-
like, her jaw is like working, like she's just like clenching and unclenching her teeth and not making eye contact with Mrs. Whitman.
After those few seconds, Mrs. Whitman turns and walks to the front of the room and continues writing on the chalkboard a few things, explaining the what kind of things you're going to be going over in class. And I was trying to find a quick cheat sheet to give me some ideas of what you would be doing in this class. But she explains more of what she's explaining right now. Is she's one of those teachers that's very much you're going to have this many quizzes, you're going to have this many tests. Each quiz will account for this percentage of your grade. Each test will account for this percentage of your grade. And at the end of the semester, there will be an exam that is going to account for a full 40% of your total grade. So she's very much, like ticking everything off, and she's making it very clear that she's also one of the no BS teachers. She doesn't take excuses. And you've already learned she doesn't like people talking while she's talking. And during this whole opening lecture, if you will, you catch a little bit of movement out of the corner of your eye, and you see Claire take a moment to hand a note over to Jimmy.
Oh my god.
And you see Jimmy as he takes the note he almost expertly takes this note without looking, and then he kind of glances over at Claire, and you see as he kind of turns his head just a little bit away from Claire, he kind of gets this like puzzled look on his face. Not less puzzlement and almost like, why is she doing this? And he doesn't even look at the note and just slides it in his pocket.
Just a big dum-dum, and I love him. He's just oblivious. Fucking Jimmy. Oh my god, that's awesome. And Rosie doesn't. She's like lockstep now, and she just like doesn't even like dare turn her head to look. She's just kind of like as far as her periph will take her. And when she sees him put it in his pocket and kind of pay it no mind, she sort of like smirks to herself.
As Mrs. Whitman continues, at this point she's handing out textbooks. She's handing out some mimeographed sheets of study materials. We see the class from outside her classroom. We see the green door with the brass handle. We see that sort of I think they call it structured glass. It's that kind of wavy. You can see through it, but it's kind of obscured. Mm-hmm. And the camera pans down where we see a little white lab rat running across the floor to the stairs and hopping down the stairs, ducking out of sight if somebody comes walking down the hall. It goes all the way down to the basement level. Goes running along right up against the baseboards underneath the lockers, and it stops and kind of sniffs the air a little bit, and the camera pans up and we see another green door with a brass handle, the structured glass, and the sign on the door. Next to it there's a number that says 004 for the room number, and then Mr. Bunsen and chemistry lab. And through the window we see the students gathered around black topped counters that seat two on each side. There's two students on either side of these countertops, and there's several of these around the room. Plus around the edges of the room there's also some stations that have, like, you can see where at all of these stations there's the silver gas spigots, and you can see that there's Erlenmeyer flasks and test tubes and various things. There's the decorations, everything you would expect for a chemistry lab. And we see seated at one of the tables, and since he's not here, I'm gonna ask Billy real quick. Would you try to get a seat to sit with Laz in this class?
I'm going to say that Billy tried, but things are not copacetic between the two of them. Laz is still little weirded out and hasn't, discussed everything with Billy yet. So Billy is disappointed, but hiding it.
I'll twist that or add to that, just that as at the beginning of this class, as you went to take your seat, Laz surprisingly was already seated at one of these seats, and there's the seat next to him is empty. And as you go and you catch that look from Laz where it's you can tell he's not quite ready. The decision is made for both of you, though, when Vice Principal Sharp walks into the room. He stops in the doorway, does a quick look, and immediately, boom, laser eyes on Laz. And he walks right up, almost shoving you out of the way. And you see this look, you see that he almost wants to grab Laz, but as a teacher and as a administration, he knows that that is not smart. And he just stands to his full height, looking down at Laz, and says, "Mr. Eccles, with me, my office, now."
Oh, shit.
And that is how
So-
Laz is pulled from the room.
For a moment, before he's able to gain control, Billy is staring daggers through the back of Mr. Sharp's head.
And
But
Laz,
before he can turn around, like, I gain composure and think to myself, not here, and just move to a seat so he can't possibly shove me out of the way again.
and as he doesn't like drag Laz out or anything like that, but he makes it very clear Laz is to come with him, and he doesn't move until he kind of motions for Laz to go first, that kind of thing. And as they leave the room, that's where we're going to take our break.
Right. Can I add one further
Absolutely.
thing? Kind of channeling Laz. Laz takes as long as possible to get out of the room.
That is,
I
yes.
think I think that very much fits the character, and I would be remiss not to put that out there. Once he gets out of there and there's not the audience, then he'll walk normal. But he shuffle steps through the whole room.
100%. He makes a big show of taking his one pencil and his one piece of paper that probably wasn't even his. It was probably just already on the table, and slowly putting them in his backpack and putting his backpack on. He just makes a whole big deal of it. Absolutely. But yeah, that's where we're going to go ahead, and we're going to take about a 10-minute break. When we return, we are going to see what's going on in AP Chemistry, and we'll maybe get back to some of the others and see what's going on with them. Stick around. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right. We are in AP Chemistry 4th period with Billy Stapler, with the teacher, who is Mr. Bunsen, and as a show that he is in on the joke, one of the decorations in the classroom above his desk, on the wall above his desk, is a very large poster of Beaker and Bunsen from the Muppets. And he even has like a little plush Bunsen on his desk. He fully embraces, even though he also looks nothing like Bunsen from the Muppets. He is in fact about a 6 foot tall, slightly broad-shouldered teacher. He has wavy dark hair with a touch of gray. He has a mustache, and he kind of looks like what students might call a discount Tom Selleck. Like, he looks like if Tom Selleck was just an ordinary guy that didn't get famous.
You ask your mom for Tom Selleck, and she says we have Tom Selleck at home.
Exactly.
Kind of guy.
Exactly.
Tom Selleck from Wish.
Yep. And of course, now there's an empty seat next to you, where Laz was going to sit. As you watch as Vice Principal Sharp takes Laz out of class suddenly, the rest of the students are settling in, and you do hear somebody. You hear the little squeak of the stools on the other side of the lab table that you've chosen, as two students fill those seats. Turning around, you see that the people that have chosen to sit across from you, they are wearing the Paradise Academy school uniform. She's wearing a skirt, he's wearing the slacks, but they're both wearing the Paradise Academy sweater with that's like a little bit of a V-neck, and they both have white collared shirts and they've got the sleeves, the cuffs of their white sleeves are rolled over the end of the sweater. They are both very blonde, very blue-eyed, and look very similar to one another. They both kind of look at you, and simultaneously they both just slightly cock their head to the side, the same direction, ever so slightly.
Oh my god.
You get
Hate it.
very strong Stepford children vibes from them.
Come and play with us, Danny.
And
Is
as
there
people
something I can help you with?
the girl says, "You're Billy Stapler."
Yeah.
She points at boy next to her and says, "This is Victor." And he points at her and says, "And she's Victoria.
Oh my god.
We are the Van Houtens."
Well,
You,
uh,
Billy, you've heard of the Van Houtens. The Van Houtens are, you've heard of them because it's a name that has been spoken often with disdain or a sense of competitiveness within your household.
Lovely.
Not so much from your mother, but definitely from your grandmother. The Van Houtens are actually a well-known, wealthy family from Grand Rapids, Michigan. They've got a couple of buildings named after them. They sponsor. There's very few events that happen in Grand Rapids that don't have the Van Houten name attached to it. And there's like a core Van Houten family, but there are from the original family. There's a few of the Van Houten children that married and had kids, and this appears to be a couple of the Van Houten from one of the families that, for whatever reason, they are now in Paradise. You know that these twins, Victor and Victoria, they were not in school last year.
That's what I was about to ask.
Nope.
Well, I'm certain others have probably already said it by now, but welcome to Paradise Academy.
Yes. It's a quaint school, he says. Victor kind of looks around and he just says, "It's smaller than I would have thought. But anyway, yes."
I imagine you're used to more grandier things from Grand Rapids.
Billy Stapler. I'm surprised. I thought I would have the edge knowing who you were, but it seems you already know a little bit about who we are.
Familiar enough with the family, not the two of you specifically.
Well, we'll have to see what we can do to change that. I'm certain that our families will of course be moving in some of the similar social functions in this town. But yes, we are new to Paradise. Mommy and Daddy thought it was best for us to get out of the city for a while.
Well, I'm certain that you know how to navigate a scene like this, but should you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask.
How very nice of you. We should definitely do something. The three of us. Or maybe the 4 of us, if your friend ever comes back.
Well, I imagine that, Mr. Sharp won't hold him for too long. Laz has got a way about things, but I am not certain that the circles that he would run in are gonna mix with the circles that you run in. Not saying that, if you wanna hang around with him, wouldn't have a problem.
Victoria is looking in the direction of where Vice Principal Sharp took Laz. She has this little twinkle in her eye, like she's calculating, thinking, and Victor just looks at you and says, that doesn't bother Vicky at all. She's rather intrigued by those who are a little more rebellious. I do have one question for you, Victor says. Do you have a dog?
A dog?
Please. And he lowers his voice. I mean this only as a courtesy. You do have a dog, and maybe it's because of the rain this morning, but you smell a little like wet dog.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. I'll have to figure out where that's coming from.
Here. And he reaches into his designer backpack and he places and I'm out of my element here, so I don't know what it is, but he places a bottle that it's got facets on it, and it looks almost like a ruby, the bottle itself. And it has a one-word name in white on it. So this is a chance for whoever wants to speak up. This is an expensive bottle of cologne. One-word name. Red bottle that looks like...
Prestige!
Did you just go, like you were about to say something?
Yes, and I quit.
I was going to say...
thinking about something, and then I didn't. Prestige is great.
When I was in
I was
high
going to say
school,
Majesty.
When I was in high school, I wore Dracar Noir, so I'm not one to talk about.
You said expensive. I don't know any expensive cologne names, so I just made one up.
Prestige.
Yeah, I mean,
Dracar and Cool Water were not expensive.
No, they were not.
Cool Water.
I was never one for cologne at all, so I wouldn't have any clue. But given these two, I was going to say Majesty.
Majesty. And when he puts it in your hand, you hear gentle whispers go, Majesty.
Yeah,
Like
we'll
the
go with that.
That exists in this world.
He slides the bottle over to you and he says, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. It's supposed to be like it's a nice thing to say to somebody when you give them something unprompted, and I can't think of what I'm trying to say.
Merci.
He just slides this bottle over to you, and to classify how fancy this is a about a 2.5 ounce bottle of cologne that retails for at least $300. And he slides it over to you and he goes, you can keep that bottle. I have more at home.
Wow.
And it's about $3,000 in today's dollars. It probably is. It probably is.
If they're Grand Rapids royalty, like in this universe, they're the DeVosses, Jake.
I know.
later on in their
that
lineage.
that
they'll
is
be-
deliberate. The Van Houtens are an analog for the DeVosses. I did
That's
not want to
amazing.
get
Thank
in
you.
any kind of trouble
Sorry.
or
No, sorry.
awaken any kind of secret DeVos mafia. We love the DeVosses here.
We
in
love the
Michigan.
DeVosses here. They give so much back to charity.
No, yeah, the DeVosses are big names. Well, Betsy DeVos is a name most people have heard.
And
in
here we are
politics.
playing in a fictional universe, so it's all good.
Yeah.
So, yes, Carrie. I thought Carrie would pick up on that. That it was
Sorry.
the Van
I
Houtens
did.
were very analogous to the DeVosses. So instead of DeVos Performance Hall, it's Van Houten Performance Hall.
The Van Houten Performance Hall, obviously.
Yeah.
The van. Everybody goes to the van on a field trip at least
Exactly.
once.
So I'll be as gracious as possible as I say, thank you, and I assume that Billy is probably even at 15 more hip to this stuff than Ted is, so he'll do like a quick dab or spray, and pocket the bottle.
And it's right about that moment where Mr. Bunsen finally, the class everybody sort of settles in, the bell rings, and Mr. Bunsen, he immediately launches into the very first thing, and the most important thing in this class is safety. We will not do anything unless you are 100% sure that it is going to be done safely. And before we ever touch any chemicals, before we ever turn on the gas, light any Bunsen burners, and he pauses as a couple girls in the corner snicker when he says Bunsen burners. He just kind of goes, yeah, get it out of your system now. You need to understand, and he starts pointing at safety goggles. He talks to you about the eye shower, eye wash station, the chemical shower, where the blanket is that you throw on somebody should you need to, and starts just kind of going over all of that stuff. For the remainder of the class, Victor and Victoria Van Houten, they seem very attentive. They seem to be pretty quiet. They pay attention. They don't interrupt or they're not disruptive in any way. You actually see that they've both pulled out notebooks and are actually taking notes on what he's saying. They seem to be very model students. With that, we're going to cut back to gym class. PE. As class is oh wait, no, we're gonna do one more final game of volleyball before the end of the class period. Even though you've already rolled a couple times, Ted, it's your turn to choose who you want to roll off against in this.
All right, well, I don't think Coop Coop had a chance to roll on the defensive, so I'll go off against him again.
Oh no!
What he meant to say was he didn't care if Coop got to roll a defensive because he fucking is now. Let's go.
All right. My flight is a D10 plus 1.
Trying to find the.
So that is a 6.
Sorry, I was trying to find the right die here.
So what's your fight? Like a D20?
D12. Ted's would be a D20 plus 1 if we went with brawn. But all right, so my fight is a 9.
Oh.
So
Oh damn.
the attacker rolled 3 greater.
Did we lose DM?
Nope,
Jake
I'm here.
muted?
Did
Oh.
you not hear
Okay,
that?
No.
no.
I gotta figure out what's going on. I literally turned my face a little. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We could. Yes.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's all I did. I was literally
I don't know.
looking to the side.
We
at
don't
the
know
numbers.
what to tell you, man.
It was a weird thing.
Apparently, I'm just gonna
Sometimes
have
things
to
just
start.
happen.
I'm gonna have to start talking directly into my microphone.
I kind of liked Mellow Jake at the beginning.
All right. So,
NPR Jake.
NPR
Yes.
Jake.
so in this case, Ted, you get to narrate how the game of dodgeball is won by your side, and Coop, you get to add in some counterpoints to that, if you will.
All right, so I've already narrated a couple. Does anybody have any fun things that they want to throw in for our final game here?
I would say Oliver Clark gets out early on by somebody, and he gets the full-on slow motion treatment, and his cigarette flies out from behind his ear, and the song Thunderstruck is playing.
How about you, Chad? Anything you want to weigh in on?
Because
This would be a your team victory here if we're going up against Coop.
So I imagine that I imagine this field has gotten waylaid very, very thin, and I imagine it's Ted versus Fridge.
Ooh,
Fridge,
okay.
Fridge has a cannon for an arm, but somehow you duck out of the way and catch him, and it's a low blow. Like it's
Okay.
It's like not quite groin, not quite upper chest, like right square in the lower abdomen.
Okay.
And you catch him right there, and I think that
All right.
yeah.
So to expand upon this one, Oak, who's been watching the whole time, has been kind of like feeding strategies in between matches, and while Fridge has the ability to like grab a whole bunch of balls at once and starts to like rocket fire, his aim isn't fabulous. So Ted is kind of dancing back and forth. He's pretty darn quick. He's not super smart, he's not really charming, but when it comes to being the jock, he's good at being mobile. So like he dances out of the way of shot number 1, shot number 2, shot number 3, and as the timing that Oak has put out there, Ted sees that moment where he draws back, and that's when Ted launches and catches him square in the gut.
Nice. Badass.
Fantastic. I would add that throughout these games, one of the things that stands out to all of you is that, of course, as you said, Refrigerator Terry, he goes for intimidation. He likes to take the ball and run up on the line, yelling loudly, charging and scaring the kids, the smaller kids. But in perfect counterpoint to that, Brad Dawson, who is the quarterback, he seems to be, he kind of dodges when he needs to. He's caught a few of them, but if he hones in on you, you're probably going to get hit. You might be able to catch the ball, but you get the sense that Brad Dawson is a good quarterback. There's no question that when he hones in on the target, the ball is going to follow that line and hit. Overall, though, I kind of lost track with all the interplay to see which one of your teams won the most, but it's irrelevant.
That would be Oak, because we were at 2-1 before we left for break. And
Chad was keeping track.
yeah.
As the
Statistics.
as the last kid is dropped in this final game, you hear Coach Shakiti's whistle, and it's the long double whistle indicating it's done. And he just looks up at all of you and says, "It was a good first day. Hit the showers." And he looks at a couple, especially looks at Oliver, and Ted, don't skip the showers. You stink, and your classmates will know it.
And yeah.
As everybody
I
said,
imagine.
go ahead.
I imagine Ted would give like some kind of grunt of reply that you can't quite tell whether it's like a affirmative or a screw you or somewhere in between.
Mm-hmm.
As you're all heading to the showers, Coach Shakiti stops Oak and Coop. Do you know why I chose you to be the captains today?
Because we're little men.
It had less to
And
do
it-
with your size. And he looks expectantly at you. He looks
Well-
expectantly at you, Oak. Sorry, I just saw that, Gary.
I just reasoned that it's because we're little men and we weren't likely to be picked, but if we did the picking, then we would already be on a team.
That is a good answer. Wrong, but it's a good answer.
Well, I don't know. We're younger, and so it's a way for us to build relationships with the older kids, and then they won't pick on us as much, I guess. If we show that we can like do stuff that they can do.
I was supposed to tell you that there is no such thing as a stupid answer.
Okay.
That is dangerously close. I'm going to tell you, it had nothing to do with your size. And I'm not interested in building up relationships with the other kids between you. That's for you to do between classes and after school and all that. I picked each of you to be the team captains because of everybody that was in that gymnasium. And I'm counting the girls too. The both of you look the most scared. You immediately walked out there with no confidence whatsoever. But there was a point, particularly for you, and he glances at his clipboard, and then he says, Oak, your strong suit, neither of you is throwing the ball. You have no power. You have tiny little arms.
I don't know if this is a compliment.
It's not. And it's not meant to compliment you. And you are not very good, very much neither of you is very good at getting out of the way of a ball that is flying at you. Believe me, I counted. And you see, he flips the clipboard so you can see it, and you can see the different kids' names. And there's a couple columns for how many. Basically amounts to kills and deaths, like in a video game. And both of you have exceptionally more deaths than any other kid on the court. He says, no. The thing that that stood out to me and that I wanted you to see, in spite of your size, the way you won the game was not by throwing the ball or dodging the balls. It was when you were instructing your teammates on where to move and who to target. There was a moment in there where you were not a player on the field. You were strategizing. You were team captain. I wanted you to see that you have a potential. Despite your young age, you have the potential to lead and to inspire. The bell's going to ring soon. You don't have to stare admiringly at me. Go hit the showers.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I think as Oak and Coop are walking back to the showers,
was that just me, or did that feel like, he took a lot of time to say negative stuff, but then he gave us like a positive thing at the end of that? Like, I don't know how to feel about it.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's weird that he didn't recognize us.
Yeah, that's also true. Like, why didn't he recognize us? That's a good point. How's your forehead?
It's sore.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
still a
all
little
red.
bit of the impression of the texture of the ball.
We'll get some ice for that. That'll be okay. I'm just glad to have you in this class, man. It'd be
Yeah,
weird without you.
it's good. It's good to not be alone here.
Yeah. So look, no matter what he throws at us, I got your back, okay?
Same, big same.
As you guys are saying this, by now you've walked into the locker rooms, and you're walking past the row that one of those little inlets that have the bench in the lockers, where Refrigerator Terry and Brad Dawson are. And as you walk by, I imagine it's Coop is sort of on the side closest. So as you're looking at Coop, you see them, and Brad, as you walk by, he looks at you, Oak, and his locker door is open, and he just puts his hand on it, and he gestures, like, questioningly, like, do you want to get in?
What a
And
dick.
behind him, Refrigerator Terry just starts going,
What an
Neither of
asshole.
them makes a move towards you, but they're very clearly making fun of you.
Hey, hey, Brad, how many times did you get hit in the face today? Was that, let me take a look. Was that 4? Yeah, I'm gonna say that's 4 times you got hit in the face today.
What are you doing?
Make a
Oh, stop! Do you have a death wish?
I think I want you to make a charm.
A charm? Oh, we're gonna charm.
Let me double
people.
check here.
I'm gonna
You're
charm.
gonna get yourself
Don't
thrown into
don't
another
poke
locker.
the very large bear with a stick.
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna.
not poking the large bear. I'm poking the small bear. I'm poking the boo boo, not the yogi. Okay, like
Okay.
don't worry.
Let's see. So
Glad you're
charm,
really
charm,
getting
charm.
into the Michigan
Ooh.
accent. It's
We're
taking
just
you
gonna
over.
poke the boo boo.
I'm rolling charm for Brad Dawson.
Okay.
What die are you rolling?
My charm is a D8, sir.
And I believe as a little you have a bonus to charm.
I do have a bonus to charm. It's a +1.
Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
Brad Dawson is rolling a D20 for charm.
Oh
Jesus.
God,
Okay.
he's so good at everything.
Okay. Let's try. That's gonna be. And I can't use. Can I use pops for this or no?
Absolutely. You can always use pops. The only time
Okay.
Actually, there is no time. The way pops work, I don't determine it. I will tell you if you're wasting pops and dissuade you from using them if I think it's a pointless use of them. You can use any of you can use pops for any dice roll.
Well, dang.
Yeah, so you can choose to use pops if you want.
Because, okay, I rolled a 4, so I'd like to use 5 to get me to at least a solid 9. Because I'm thinking that
I mean, I know he's got a D20, but if he rolls low, at least that gives me some buffer to get there.
I want
I can't
Oak
that high. Yeah, I can't
to
do
become a
that.
bully so bad.
Uh,
Oak to
I don't
run-
want
I
to
want-
be a bully. I
I
just
want Oak
want
to run this bitch.
I don't want to be one. I just want to be me.
Okay,
I just
so-
want to be a good guy. Just a little good guy. Little good guy.
Becoming a monster.
So you're gonna use. You said you're gonna use how many? 4 or 5?
5.
You're
I'll
gonna
use
use
5.
5. So that's gonna
Put me up to
decrease
9.
the spread.
Oh wait, no.
Um,
So it'll actually bring me up to 10 because I have a 4 plus 1, so 5 plus.
You have a
5
10.
would be 10.
Okay.
Yep.
So let me make the adjustment here.
While Jake
And-
is making the adjustment, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we have all kinds of great t-shirts like this one I'm wearing. And we have the original Paradise logo and all different kinds of class t-shirts for your more fantasy-oriented TTRPGs. You can get them on t-shirts, coffee mugs, sweatshirts, tank tops, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
Awesome. So
Thanks.
you have a total of 10. Brad Dawson rolled a 19. So you did reduce the spread, which reduces the level of failure.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that because of the spread still being 9,
Uh-huh.
the failure is bad, but it's not a disaster. There'll be some short-term consequences that might lead to some immediate difficulty. This is our first consequence of the game. You now have one social consequence.
Okay.
The way those work is for the next I'm going to say until the end of the next school day, you have a -2 to any social interaction rolls. Okay?
Oh.
So indicate on your character sheet that you have one negative consequence.
Okay. Yep.
The way this plays out in our roleplay is, as you say that, you see a couple of the other kids around Brad. They go, "Ooh," and even Coop is like, "What are you doing, man?"
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Coop's horrified. Coop's just like,
Brad
Coop doesn't take shit.
looks at you, and he comes walking over to you, and he's already stripped down. He's got his towel around his waist. And just to give you an idea of Brad Dawson, he's cut. 6-pack, deep V.
Yep. I imagine.
This guy's ripped.
Yep.
He just walks over to you with the confidence that only a high school quarterback that looks like that can have, standing in only a towel. And he leans down closer to you, and the whole time he has a smile on his face. And he says, "You did really good as a team captain out there today."
Thanks.
Yeah, you and your team got some good hits in on me. Hold on to that victory. Hold on to that feeling. If you ever call me out in front of my friends, I will make sure your friend watch you bleed. And he smiles brightly, pats you on the shoulder, and he just turns away and walks back over to his friend.
Oh.
You know that moment when a kid, like, when you know that moment when you've had confidence and that confidence is built up, right? So that confidence is so built up that you say shit that you know you shouldn't say.
Oak is standing there with his little chest
It's
out.
called
That's
your,
this moment.
your mouth is writing checks that your ass can't cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
That
you're
feeling.
like, the moment that he walks away, I deflate. I'm like,
What did I do? Oh my God!
There's
I
a
just-
really good chance he might kill you.
Yeah.
As you say that, you hear Terry just go, "Oh man, I thought you were gonna kill him, Brad."
God.
I'm a dead man walking. I am a dead man walking. Let's just take a shower and get to class.
And as everybody showers and leaves the locker room, and as you do so, some of the other kids are just starting to trickle in for the next for fifth period PE. But as Oak and Coop, now dressed back in their clothes with their book bags, are heading out of the locker room, you walk past this one bank of the lockers, and we just see. I guess I should lean into camera. We see Robbie D peeking out from behind and just watching the two of you as you walk away.
Oh, man.
And then he kind of looks around, and then he comes out and exits. We're going to go to... find your schedules.
It's a shame you don't have them neatly filed away like the Malachis. The Doctor's Malachi.
Oh, I have your schedules right here. I just was...
Shava, at least. I don't know about the
Yes.
other one.
Yes,
Oh,
you're right.
Kava.
Addis is a slob.
Let's see. Rosie.
Yes. Roger.
It is now in between classes. American Lit. Is the bell rings, and everybody starts gathering their stuff, and there's that sudden, the creaking of the desks, and that rush of books and bags and bodies as you're all getting up to head out. You see that Jimmy Bretsky lingers for just a moment, and you see that Claire had already started to walk ahead, and she kind of looks over like she was expecting Jimmy to be right next to her. And she looks back, and Jimmy is actually standing there and waiting for you to gather your books. And he goes,
Yeah.
What class you got next?
And Rosie digs into her pocket just to kind of make sure. She is getting a little bit more comfortable by now, I imagine, because Rosie's a little bit of a scatterbrain. She asked him to borrow a pencil, and he probably gave her one. And then she looks at her little card and she goes, woodshop, Mr. Davenport.
Whoa. I have woodshop next too.
3 for 3. We're batting 1,000.
I'm kidding. I don't. It was just a joke. It'd be cool. It'd be cool if we had 3 classes together, but no, I got you in class next.
Oh, well, I heard that they're playing dodgeball today, so,
Yeah.
cover up, bob and weave.
Coach Shakiti up to his usual day one, separating the wheat from the chaff, as he says.
It's very extreme. Anyway, I'm glad we have the 2 classes together.
Yeah.
And the fact that just came out of she kind of she says it and then she almost looks surprised.
And as you guys are sort of walking toward the front, he glances toward the door, and Claire is lingering. She's taking her time to she wants him to catch up to her. He glances at her, and then he looks at you, and he goes, "Hey, do you by any chance dance?" No reason. I'm just curious. I thought maybe that dance Claire was talking about. You might be going.
Yeah, I can put a step or 2 together, I guess. Are you going?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I go, sometimes I don't. I guess it depends on if there's a reason to go. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if you want to to try it out? And maybe I will too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well,
I gotta go. Woodshop is all the
I
way
gotta
down
go to
that
PE.
way, and she's pointing the wrong way.
And he actually, by this point, you get to where Claire is kind of waiting in the doorway, and as he goes, hey, yeah, woodshop, don't like cut your fingers off or whatever, and maybe I'll see you at the dance. Excuse me, Claire, I'm trying to get through here.
Yeah.
And you just see Claire has this look on her face, like just she's affronted, and as he passes by, she looks at you like she's like calculating all the ways that she can destroy you socially, but she also very quickly glances around and recomposes herself.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want anybody to see her caught on her back foot.
Rosie would kind of smile as she's like getting ready to walk away, and she'd be like, thanks for letting us know about the dance, Claire. I didn't even know there was one until you said something. And she walks away.
And we sort of linger on Claire for a moment as you walk away one way and Jimmy walks away the other, and Claire standing there, she's finally things have thinned out a little bit, and she just goes, fuck, and then turns and starts walking off to her next class.
Oh my god.
We'll cut down to also, I just want to say as an aside, it is very weird, even in pretend, hitting on your friends.
Oh, you know what? That's why we all play here, right?
Yep. That's one of the things about having a safe table and stuff. But it's fun, but it's also just a little weird when you're like, I'm trying. Not only am I flirting with you, but I'm trying to do so as a 15 or 16-year-old
as a teenage boy.
Actually, 14. I think Jimmy's 14.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Jimmy's 14.
Look. Yeah. Oh gosh.
But anyway, we're gonna cut to the end of fourth period chemistry. Either surprisingly or not surprisingly, Billy, Laz has not returned to class.
All right. Redoing my character sheet for this new iteration, I learned of something that my character has. So I want to do something that I don't think I've done yet, or if I did it, I was very early on in season 1. So looking at Mr. Bunsen, my character is intuitive. So I want to ask the question and use a pop to do so. Is Mr. Bunsen aware of the iterations?
So intuitive allows you to spend 1 adversity token to ask the GM about your surroundings, an NPC, or the like. The GM must answer honestly. I will take your pop. And that totally reminded me, I'll save that. There was an affectation for Victoria that I totally forgot to put into play, but I'll save that for another time when you see her.
Sure.
So as everybody's kind of gathering up their stuff, you see Vic, as they've through the course of the class period, they kind of let you know that you can just call them Vic and Vicky.
Oh, okay.
And Vic and Vicky gather their stuff, but they stop like one table away and wait for you. As you're gathering your stuff up and you're trying to get some impression of Mr. Bunsen, trying to determine if does he somehow know something's up. After a moment, it's just the three of you and Mr. Bunsen that are in the class. Everybody else is filtered out. The next class hasn't quite started to come in yet. And Mr. Bunsen's gathering a few things up. And as he comes around by one of the tables and re-straightens a flask, he just kind of looks over at you. Billy, Stapler, was there something that you needed?
I'm sorry, I just kind of got lost in thought. It's day one, and I try to cover it by pulling out my schedule and oh yeah, I'm going off to calculus next. My apologies. And I basically catch up to where the twins are and try to briefly engage them in whatever kind of conversation to kind of cover the weird feeling that's going on there.
Roll me a D100 real quick, please.
Absolutely, sir.
They're talking about their thoroughbred race horses that they breed.
This is a lakeshore town. They are talking
about their yacht.
They've got their polos and their sweaters.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
absolutely talking about how there's only a few weeks left until Daddy has to put the yacht up in the marina, winterize it.
The trade
But
winds.
There's one more race before the winter, and Papa says I can enter if I have straight A's.
Did you know we have a rowing clause?
And I want to point out
out.
that for Vic and Vicky, they both refer to their parents as Daddy and Mommy.
Oh.
What did you get for?
I have a 58, sir.
Holy crap!
Give
I
me-
rolled a 60.
Oh,
Okay.
Scadios.
So, in your lingering and in that brief interaction with Mr. Bunsen, as you say, "Hey, I got caught lost in the moment," and you turn to walk out with the Van Houtens, he just says, "Hey, we all get lost in thought from time to time. You have a good rest of your day." And it's as he raises his hand and says, "You have the good rest of your day." There's a flicker just for a moment. And you see part of the first iteration superimposed over this one. And you see the exact same man, but he's not in a classroom. He's standing outside the door to the Paradise Pharmacy downtown. And it was on that first day when you all were riding your bike around town and just trying to get the lay of the land that you remember seeing the pharmacist, Mr. Bunsen, standing in the doorway, waving across the street to one of the other shop owners saying, "All right, you have a nice day." And in that moment, as that interaction happens, and it's just a quick Mr. Bunsen, his expression slips just a moment. He frowns, and then his eyes dart back to you, and he quickly recovers from it. He is aware that something is up. You don't know to what degree.
Okay.
Excellent use of that ability. I didn't know. I was like, you know what? I want to let the dice determine this. So that's why we rolled the
Sure.
D100, and you rolled so close. I'm like, yep, all right. He knows something's up. And so you turn, and as you're walking down the hallway with Vic and Vicky Van Houten, of course the two of them are talking about Daddy's yacht, and maybe we'll have to get you out on the water sometime if you'd like to. We could take the boat out to South Manitou Island, perhaps. And we see the three of you walking down the hall, and you give a glance over your shoulder, and you see Mr. Bunsen is peeking out his door at you, and as soon as you look over your shoulder, you catch him just kind of duck back in real quick. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, I love it. That's
All right,
awesome.
Out of game, you guys know that Billy is into the mystery of the second iteration.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to use a whole lot of pop. I'm not going to use a whole lot of pop for pluses and that kind of stuff, but I'm going to be using the heck out of my intuition. So
what a breakthrough for you!
Oh,
That's awesome.
Super cool.
That was great.
Wow.
I love that. It was something that I hadn't even thought of, so I love that you asked that question, and it took me a second to kind of figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? And you know me, I'm a big fan of letting the dice decide.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Badass, dude.
Yeah, so
Totally badass. Great job, everybody.
That was session episode 3, Opposites Attack, which was, of course, a reference to primarily the dodgeball game.
As it should be.
You weren't wrong when you said, ooh, violence, when I revealed the title.
I just had a feeling.
So no, this was, as always, a blast, a lot of fun. Em and Jeremy were, of course, missed. That just means that next week, we're going to focus in on them if they're here. We're going to see why, hopefully, why did Laz get pulled by Vice Principal Sharp? And what's Jessica been up to? As well as keeping up with the rest of the kids. It's kind of funny because we're spending the first few episodes literally on the first day of school. Ted is no stranger, nor Jeremy or Em, no stranger to the 24-hour period that takes literally months to get through in game. There will come a point where we'll probably focus in on like maybe one class a day, or the times in between class, and then we jump to after school or lunch, wherever the story takes us. We're not always gonna, if we did this, it'd be like 300 episodes long if we went through every single class period. But I think this is good, spending the first few episodes getting a chance for you as characters and players to settle into this new setting and new iteration. We kind of find out who some of these people are. I kind of decided on the spur of the moment that I wanted to have you interact with Jimmy in the class, and it was literally,
I wasn't expecting Jimmy to come upon us so quickly.
Literally in that moment that I was like, I've got to put Claire in this situation. I've got to have the rivals there and put Jimmy in the middle of Claire and Rosie. And I wanted to see how Coop and Oak were gonna do when they were put in team captains, and I wanted to introduce. Obviously, I'm introducing the NPCs that you guys created for me, and when Ted created, Ted gave me the template for Victor and Victoria.
Wow!
But Ted didn't give me any surnames. He said, "You go ahead and plug them in however you want," and that's where I came up with the Van Houtens, and that they're an analog for the Van Andels. And I'm like, I need Billy needs to have somebody that's on his level socially.
Upper crust friends.
So I'm curious to see how if a friendship forms from that, and how things turn out with that. There's so many things I wish I could tell you guys, because I have so many pieces in play.
My prediction is so coming true that we're kind of getting pulled into our trope like groups. Like Billy is kind of getting pulled towards the the Van Houtens, and Rosie's kind of going towards it's gonna be good.
Yep, and
it's gonna be fun.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays as you're settling into the typical. You guys each have all these dramatically different social roles in school. How does that affect your friendships outside of school and your desire to keep getting together and figuring out? We've already seen not everybody is pinning all their hopes and thoughts on the previous iteration. Some of you are happily leaving that stuff behind and seem to be just going. So there's just, I love what you guys are doing with your characters in this new setting. It's everything that I was hoping that we could get out of this when I decided to go with the school setting. It's everything that I hoped we would have. This new playground with these new sort of, not really rails or boundaries, but it's sort of a more defined sandbox to play in. And I can't wait to see what, as stories begin to unfold, where I've been dropping little nuggets. I mean, we've got the whole Robbie D thing going on. Robbie seems to know something's up. He has an awareness of something. So, well, I don't know. We'll all see how Tomiko compiles her notes in a couple weeks.
Oh my god!
Look, man, all I'm going to point out is there was a scene in season 1 where the viewers saw inside the lab when when Ashley and Dr. Sharp were talking. There were more kids than us on that anomaly table.
Is that the kids that they're freaking kidnapping now? That was like the wow connections. Tomiko's got the red strings.
preparing. Oh
Badass.
man,
It's just
Wonderful.
that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Charlie meme where he's pointing at the thing going,
Yeah, that's exactly.
Carol, where's Carol? All right. Just a reminder that if you're watching with us live right now, join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Nerdarchy on YouTube for the Old Guard with myself and Ted, Carlos, Asa, Frag, and our Da Vinci Punk game master Robin, as we continue on with that adventure. Or if you're catching this later on the VOD or whatever, head over to the Nerdarchy channel and catch up on the Old Guard episodes. They're all there. Thank you to everybody who joined us, whether you were watching actively in the chat, playing, talking or whatever, or lurking silently in the background, or you're watching later on the VOD. We appreciate you. We appreciate any support through subscriptions and bits and all that good stuff. But more than that, we appreciate just having you along with us as we play this game of make-believe. And of course, as always, I have to say just an amazing, just how much I can't overemphasize how much I appreciate being able to play this game with you specific people. There's a reason why I like playing that. You often see some of the same players in many different games because we've built these levels of trust, but also knowing that I can put something down and you guys are going to pick it up and run with it. Not always knowing what direction you're going to run with it, but knowing you're going to run with it. And I can kill your parents and your siblings. I can flirt with you. I can turn you into a werewolf. I can give your mom a boyfriend that's basically me. Whatever.
Whatever.
And I know you guys are gonna roll with that stuff, and we just constantly build off of each other. And I love you guys. I love playing with you every week in this game and other games, whatever. So as always, a huge thank you to Chad, Tomiko, Carrie, Ted, and though they aren't with us tonight, they are with us in spirit, Em and Jeremy, without whom this would just be me flirting with myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Metadata. Next